All right, guys, Happy New Year to everybody. We're back at it with the latest FSD for Hardware 3 12.6, but it doesn't come without a little bit of controversy as we start the new year off a little bit rough. Luckily, our Hardware 3 car is drivable, but this is actually what wound up happening in the wee hours of the new year. Okay, so as you can see, Tesla Cam for the win. Hopefully this should be a quick and easy situation to resolve. And yeah, that's how we're starting our new year off on the sort of wrong foot, but also on the right foot because we got the latest FSD. So, and it's still drivable, this particular car. So that's great. So we got the latest one, 12.6. This is the one that the Tesla team has been working very hard to get as much of version 13 into or ready for version 12 for Hardware 3. And as you see here in the release notes, it's got a bunch of good things, which includes end-to-end on highway, which is very critical for Hardware 3 cars because the previous version was pretty bad, specifically the attention monitoring, lane selection, lane changing. Now, bad, relatively speaking, relative to version 13 and relative to the end-to-end highway. That's super good, and therefore it makes the previous version bad. If it's by itself without version 13, it's also very good. But relatively speaking, it's pretty bad. Okay, so we had to take a long 300-mile trip on this with this particular car, Hardware 3, with the old sort of highway stack, and it was pretty annoying, pretty frustrating to know that it drives like that compared to our Hardware 4 car, which has the end-to-end in version 13, which is way better on the highway. So happy to see that. It says improves city street behavior, reduces the false slowdowns, and improves obstacle avoidance, customizable speed profile, so no more auto max here. And shout out again to Phil for making the symmetry here. Now that you take auto max off, you get the symmetry here for moving the icon up and aligning it with that. Shout out to Phil Duan. Good job there. And then again, the redesigned controller here for smoother, more accurate tracking. That's going to be the key thing that differentiates the previous version 12 build from this 12.5.4 or something of that nature. From this one 12.6, which is great. So it's not quite version 13. And I'm happy they didn't try to force version 13 and take even longer, but instead increment it with a new build of version 12, bringing down some of the features from version 13 into 12.6, including that redesigned controller, which is great. All right, so let's take it out for a spin really quickly. We'll do a little bit of our regression testing, just the first part to the unprotected left. Then we're going to go to a new path and jump on the highway and test that out, speed bumps and all that stuff, and see how it does, and just take it from there. So we don't have the option to now engage from the shoulder. That's going to be specific to version 13, so we don't have that option now. But I'm going to engage and see what happens either way. All right, so here we go. We have a path set. We'll go ahead and activate as soon as this next car passes and see what it does. I'll activate here. And just as every other version of version 12, this person's not even paying attention. Kind of takes its time getting off the road, but it does activate from the shoulder, which is great. So it activates from the shoulder where it was having problems in version 12 before activating from the shoulder, which is a good sign, but it's not the hold the button and go from parking spot to parking spot situation that you have in version 13, which is okay. We can take baby steps as long as they get it right and as long as it's smooth. Coming up to our first turn here, nice and smooth, a little close to this car, given that we're on a little bit of an incline and cars tend to sway, gas cars tend to sway backwards, roll backwards. First turn, here we go. Hits the speed bump. Excuse me, hits the pothole, I call it that every time. Hits the manhole cover, no big deal, but nice smooth turn, nice and confident for turn one. And again, we're just gonna go to the unprotected left just to kind of see what little nuances we can see that differentiate it from the previous 12.5.4 and from version 13. Second turn here, stages it nicely. Nice smooth slowdown. Nice turn, nice smooth, nice confident turn. Winding road, good slowdown. Now here's where version 12 kicks in. The turn signal on this particular winding road, not great. A little too close to the curb, not great. So these are things that are not they're regressions from version 13, but this never had version 13, so I can't call it a regression. It's consistent for version 12. Because this is still version 12 and not version 13, it's consistent in that regard. Okay, good job there. Good job there, excellent. Big pothole, good job. Now we're coming up to our unprotected left, and then I will cancel this trip and go on to the next one. Nice smooth stop at the limit line. Starts creeping up now. Can't go. 2 cars to the left. Can't go, can't go, can't go. One is turning, one is going straight. Now one from the right. Can't go, can't go. Now it can go, 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 go. Excellent job. Super smooth. Very much, and I guess because of that controller, very much version 13 levels of smoothness. So that was great for our regression, our mini regression test. I'm going to go ahead and edit this trip. I'm going to drop this one, go with this one, let it reroute us, and go from here. All right, so pretty good so far. Way smoother than 12.5.4 for sure. And I'm just going to say 12.5 just to keep it simple. This is 12.6, 12.5. Now, one of the other things that we're doing here with this particular version, which I'm really, really happy about, is releasing to the Model S and X exclusively first, okay? Now, I know people are going to be up in arms, Model 3 and Model Y owners, oh, why can't we get it? There's more of us, and there's so few Model S and X's, and blah, blah, blah. That's kind of the point. A little shaky here. I'm going to give it some accelerator here. This is exactly why. So not great there, but it's kind of the point. You want to be able to test on a smaller set of numbers, a smaller set of vehicles to get something right, especially when we're talking about the process of optimizing version 13 to fit in hardware 3. Get it right there with the smaller subset first, and then expand to the masses. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is that Tesla has historically been known to build their FSD data based on Model 3 and Model Y data and the form factor of Model 3 and Model Y. What that leaves for SX and Cybertruck is now the ability to adjust for that, which means hitting curbs and making those micro corrections on turns because it's thinking it's a Model 3 or Model Y, or trained on being a Model 3 or Model Y, and it's really a Model S or X or Cybertruck, and it has to make those micro adjustments. So what you wind up having is a longer delayed cycle for the low volume vehicles, SX and Cybertruck, and a poorer experience for those customers. Doing it this way allows you to get it right for the bigger vehicles, and then the course correction, one second as these cars try to zoom past us, and then the course correction is easy for Model 3 and Model Y, right? Because it's better to take a turn wide than to take a turn short. And if you got the turns correct for Model S and Model X and Cybertruck, then it's an easy turn for Model 3 and Model Y. And the worst case is they're going to make a wider turn versus a tighter turn. That's okay. Versus doing it for 3 and Y, getting those all sorted, and then having S and X hit curbs and Cybertruck hit curbs, which isn't great. Little false slowdown here. This is not a always stop. Give some accelerator here. Some encouragement. See what it does. So to that point, it's a great way to be able to do that. And on the last point of that is just to say that the usual Model S and X owners at this point, not all, but most of them, are repeat owners. They're owners who had older Model S and X's, right? And therefore, they've been waiting the longest for this tech to mature. So 3 and Y can complain that they've been waiting for such a long time. They've been stuck on a version. But whatever version you're on, you're probably not waiting as long as the people who bought FSD when it wasn't even available, when the features were coming soon, when they've been going through multiple iterations of S and X to be able to get this. They should definitely be first in line to get this. Try it out, test it out, validate it, most importantly, and get it right. Very, very uncertain here. Super bad right now on this little turn. But again, this is great to get it right. Fix this for Model S and X, Model 3 and Y is not a problem. So far, it's a lot of version 12 code I can see in this build, which is causing it to be very hesitant, very unsure of itself in certain scenarios. The simple stuff it's doing pretty good, solid and smooth, smoother than before, but there's certain areas where it seems a little hesitant. And this is a good test because we're going down a path where we're gonna have those speed bumps that based on the angle of the sun are going to be occluded. And we're going to see if that actually is resolved here, where it is resolved in version 13. But anyway, I digress. Glad that it's going out to S and X for validation first, and then follow up with 3 and Y afterwards. That's kind of the way it should be, just on the pecking order of things. And again, more importantly, the data point of things, whereby you have a small subset of cars you can validate, get it right. Wider cars, bigger cars, Cybertruck should be included in that as well, and then roll out the 3 and Y. Doesn't have to be a long time afterwards, but nice, good slow down here. But it should definitely be validated there versus the opposite way. I repeated that several times just to get the point through, but you guys get it. Nice smooth slow down here. Another speed bump, slow down. Next one's partially occluded, but still visible. Let's see what it does. Not slow enough for my taste. Still needs some work here. This one is not slowing down at all. Gee. Failed to slow down sufficiently for speed bump. And that's how it always is for version 12. So some things have not been quite fixed. And I don't expect it to be fully resolved just because it's still version 12. But let's just see what else it does. Steep turn here. Very good. And if you heard that rolling sound, there is something loose in the headrest of this car that the technicians somehow can't find. Seems to be back now. It went away, now it's back. If any of you guys have any issues with something rolling in the headliner of the Model X, leave a comment below if you guys know what that might be. It's been happening for a while. Maybe the accident got it unstuck. Here's an instance where it's going over the line. Not great. Let's see what mode we're in. Oh, this is okay. So this is still a little bit not regressive, but an earlier version of the things we get in version 13. So we don't quite have hurry mode on roads below 50 miles an hour. It's only roads 50 miles an hour or above. So this is lagging behind version 13 quite a bit, and rightfully so, right? Because it has to make some adjustments. Crossing over the solid white line is acceptable, but not ideal because, again, we need to be in the right lane so we can make the entrance onto the highway. So that's not the greatest look. But again, it's consistent. It's par for the course for version 12. It's the same thing it's done in the past build. Nothing different here. So not a regression, but not a progression either. Not a fix, not a resolve. All right, we're off. Got to get into that right lane. See what it does. Signals to get over. Nice acceleration, nice and smooth. Gets right in there. Great job. Before we jump on the highway, test that highway performance, just to do a little bit of a check. We've got 1 disengagement and 2 encouragements, aka accelerator presses. I'll have those on the screen. Obviously, you guys can keep track of that as we go along through the video. That'll be the new way we roll for 2025. Giving us the instructions for the new highway end to end. We've got hurry mode kicking in now because the speed limit is, I guess, 40 miles an hour here. It's supposed to be 50. I think it's reading 50, even though it's showing 40. There we go, 55 now. So I think the car knows what road it's on, so it jumps to the correct profile, even if the speed limit still said 40. So that's good. And we're in the hurry profile. 40% offset. All the details will be in the description below. And we're off. A little bit of a merge here. Cars there, cars there. Speeds up nicely, very nicely. Keeps the turn signal on, makes double lane changes, but makes them in the proper order. Stay in one, then go into the other, then go into the other, versus a veer across multiple lanes. That's the right way to do it. And now we're sitting in the middle lane, which is great. Nice and smooth. Really looking forward to this build. to get end to end on the Model X, because this is our road tripper, and man, it's rough. Again, relatively speaking, rough with the previous version that wasn't end to end. Once you go end to end, you can't go back. That's really what it comes down to. In this particular car, I guess the in-cabin light failed, and so whenever it turned dark, we just couldn't use FSD at all because the camera was blocked. It didn't have enough light to illuminate the cabin, essentially, and wouldn't activate or wouldn't stay on. Very frustrating, especially for long, tiring drives with kids in the back. Truck avoidance on a little bit, moving over a little bit. See that bias right there? That's that truck avoidance. Now it kind of recenters itself into the lane, which is great. Just gonna wait to see what happens when it needs to make a lane change. It's on 71.65. Max is 85, just so you can see the max. But it's keeping a good pace to the flow of traffic, which is great. Don't go to 85, but go to 85 as needed with the flow of traffic. 70 into 65, this is a good place to be. I'm seeing a little bit of lane drift. There are strong winds out today. Don't know if that has a bearing, but a little bit of a lane drift where it's like way on the edge of this lane. That's still a big issue for version 13. That's probably its Achilles heel right now, is the lane drift, both on highway, but more specifically on city streets and certain roads, tight quarters, cars parked on the side of the road like we did in Brooklyn, just drifting slowly towards the side, which again was kind of dangerous because our mirror was really, really close. And again here, a little bit of drifting issue here. This is at its best when it can stay centered in line consistently all the way through and make nice smooth lane changes and good decisions. That drift gives me a little bit of hesitation. See that? Look at that balance. Not cool. Even on the visualization, it shows it. Now, it should bias to the inside of a curb when it's turning, but not that much. That's a little excessive. And we have the ultrasonic sensor, so we can use the arcs as an indicator of closeness. So I chose this route specifically because it's going to have an exit coming up that it notoriously fails, going all the way back to version 10, where it takes it too hard trying to get off, and the guardrail is so close, it gets very unsettling. I have to disengage almost every time. I feel the strong winds blowing the car. You may be able to hear a little bit of it as I stop talking, but I'm curious to see how it handles that. Coming up on the exit right now. Signals for the lane change, which is great. Staging it early. But let's just see how it takes this exit. We're benefited by the speed of this truck because it's a little slow. Now it's trying to get around the truck. Let's see if it stays or gets around it. It's going to go for it. Good job. I was going to say we benefited from the speed of the truck slowing us down so it's not as aggressive, but let's see what happens now. It has to follow that Jeep right there, get over, and then get over to the lane change. I'll be at the ready just in case it's awkward. Nice and smooth lane change. Here it is. Make it smooth. Oh, yes. Finally. Oh, finally. So many years have gone by, and that's been a problem. Yes. End-to-end highway for the win. It used to take that turn so hard. Slow down. And just like jump you right into the edge, and the barrier was right there. Great job. This end-to-end is incredible. Can't say it enough. But I'm a little surprised on the areas where it was struggling, where I want to say version 12 before it could overcome that, at least in hardware 4. It overcame those obstacles going through that, the speed bump, except for the last one. Version 13 completely fixed that, which is great. Needs to get over aggressively. And it does. Great job getting in for the merge. Look at that. Great job. See how close we are to the other cars? Like, that's where the lane drift gets a little scary. So all it takes is someone not paying attention, and we got a little side swipe situation happening. So I'm not sure what it is about the new build. That lane centering is kind of broken, but definitely should be fixed. No more drifting. Nice smooth slowdown for this turn. Great control around these bends. So we will have in very soon, less than half a mile, we're going to have a very quick, sort of short deadline, multiple merge we have to make. That's going to be the true test of end to end here. This person's like on the edge there. But we have to get over to this lane, and then when this road merges, where you see the roadblock is going to go away, we're all going to merge. We got to get all the way over to make this exit. Let's see what it does. How smooth and effective it is to do that is going to be the true test of whether the end-to-end on version hardware 3, version 12 is legit. So far, it's been doing great. Should probably get over now, just to get ready. There's one less lane that has to cross over. Here's the merge. Now it's going to get over at the merge. Not the greatest, but let's see what it does. And we have to urgently get over, like now. It usually misses this exit because it goes too fast. Let's see what happens. One lane over, stop. Second lane over, nice and smooth, very good. Nice and smooth. One more, speed up a little bit. Turn signal on. Wow. Excellent. And then we just got to take the exit nice and smooth, and we should be good. Nice and smooth. Here we go. Perfection. Perfection. That in itself is worth the upgrade to 12.6. Just the end to end of it all. It makes a world of difference on the highway. Now that we're getting back to more city streets, let's see what else this build has to bear. Because there's another exit coming up here that it always fails on. Specifically trying to make a turn. And I don't even know which way it's going now. It's in the wrong lane. So it's now getting over to the furthest lane to the left. Excuse me, to the left. And it has to get over all the way to the right to make this exit in less than a mile. So probably a poor choice. It probably could have just stayed. Now it's going to try to get back over. Now it's still highway now because we're on a high-speed road. So that's great. But the road we're getting off on isn't a high-speed road, so it'll jump off of hurry, it should, and go back to regular. And that's where we're going to see if it still can be performant at that level. Great job getting over, but unnecessarily so. So unnecessary maneuvers are also a thing that should get dinged on. Do the most efficient course of action. I know it's in hurry, so it tries to get there the fastest, but we could have gotten there just in this same position just as fast just by staying in this lane. This truck may help us with the exit. Let's see what happens. Just trying to control the speed of everything. All right, here we go. Exits nicely. Now, when it loops around here, that's when it has problems because it has to come to a stop, and it's a bit of an unprotected left situation, and it gets frazzled a lot. And as we just saw, just turning down one of the roads for the mountain, it was having problems and getting a little scared and timid out there. So that's not the greatest. And the traffic is kind of backed up right here, so it has to make a smart decision. See what it does. All right, full stop here. Tons of cars coming from the left. No cars coming from the right, but just no opening on the left so far. We'll have to wait a little bit till the light changes in order to go. More cars are merging. A truck is coming. More cars are coming. And it's starting to creep out now because we got the light and we should be good. We're going to be clear after this next car, white car. And then to the right, there's a ton of cars coming. It's making a go for it. It's making a go for it. Nice. Okay. I'm impressed so far. I'm impressed. That was impressive. It saw an opening, committed, and went. No problem. Didn't get crazy. Didn't get frazzled. Definitely a good situation there. Let's see if it can pull us into a parking spot. We're in the X now with the bigger wheels, so I'm no PTSD today on this car with the rims. So we're good. Let's just see what it does. Close to that curb, but whatever. Good around here. A little bit of a speed bump. Not slowing down for it. Gee, almost caught air. Not great. Speed bump was an issue there. We're automatically going slow for this one, so it's just going to be slow going through it. Would love for them to visualize speed bumps again. Don't know why they took that away. That's helpful to help us know if the car sees it or not. Otherwise, we're just waiting for it to slow down, and if it doesn't slow down until the last minute, we wind up putting the brakes on, trying to slow it down, which is awkward for everybody. Full stop. Good job. Makes the right turn here. Well, makes a left turn here. It's just like changing its mind now. It's not really where I want it to go, but I just want to see what it's going to do. A little confused. Maybe it takes this turn. Okay, nice. Maybe it wants to park somewhere. Maybe it just wants to keep going around in the loop. I don't know. Seems to just want to go around the loop. Now, if it goes this way now, that's going to be very awkward. Yep, that's awkward. All it needed to do is make a right, and it went all the way around to make that right. Not cool. Good job. Ooh, kind of close, but okay. Always stop. We can go. We're going to go. Now we're going to pull in here to our destination and do what? It just keeps going around in circles. The pin is in the lot, so I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, that's a tight turn. Another tight turn. Okay, good job. Whoa, showing off your skills. Pedestrian. Wants to go there. Now it wants to go here. Did the pin readjust? I'm not sure. All right, we'll go for it. Keep rocking with it. All right, at our destination. Does it still want to go around again? Doesn't seem to know where to go. Are you going to pull us in the spot? Don't hurt us now. Okay. It's kind of stuck. I'll let it go. Got us halfway into a spot. I'll take it. All right, guys. There we go. There you have it. FSD 12.6 Hardware 3 Model X for the first drive. And it was pretty good. End to end, top notch. The city streets version of this build, not the greatest. Couple of issues: one, disengaging for speed bumps; two, encouragements with the accelerator presses for scenarios where it was kind of lost in the sauce. But overall, it was pretty good. I'm going to give it a high taxi driver. High taxi driver, not quite Uber Black, because I know version 13 is firmly in Uber Black. That should be the standard. I'm now going to delineate this a little bit better by saying this is high taxi cab driver. Very smooth, very competent, very aware, but also a little bit reckless. Anyone who's been in a taxi cab or a taxi cab in New York City or anywhere near that area, any metro area, you know, it can be a little bit wild. It can be comforting, but it can also be wild. And I kind of got those vibes from this particular drive, where it seems a little bit wild at times, or unsure at times, or where it wanted to go, or where it needed to go, and making certain maneuvers. So high taxi driver for this particular drive. Major improvement over 12.5.4, specifically on the highway. It's worth the upgrade just for that. But city streets, I think, still needs some help and still needs some work. Very unsure of itself and not as smooth as version 13. But again, it's not version 13, it's version 12.6. So I like what they brought down. Looking forward to what they can add to it to make it even smoother, even better, and bring it to be on par with hardware 4 and version 13. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this drive just by watching it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you have this build, and if you've got a chance to test it out. Let me know your thoughts, and until the next time, enjoy your day, enjoy your Tesla.